Right, this is lesson 4, so we're using the same piece of work that we started in lesson 3. So we've got 3 ideas. So in this lesson, we're just looking at 2 items. First of all, we want to add some dimensions to these ideas, or sizes, and the second thing we need to do is annotate them. So on the right hand side down here, if you've got your booklet or if you downloaded the file from Teams, it should give you some prompts for annotating on the side. One of them is aesthetics. Now there's not much in terms of aesthetics, only the shape that we can reference. There's no surface graphics on these, but there is function, there is materials, and then ultimately there'll be dimensions. So for instance, when you come to annotate, you can get your pencil, or you can do it with a pen. So you can put a little arrow on the side, you can even put the title to the topic that you're talking about. So if it was function, there's some sentence starters. So I could say, I will place the surface graphics here because, and then I want to provide a reason. So we want a statement followed by a reason if we can. So in this idea over here, again, I could put a little arrow, I could put the title function, and then I might say something like, this idea has good stability, which means it's not going to fall over, because, and then I could mention about it's got a large surface base, which means it's not going to fall over all of the time. This one's quite good because it could collapse. You can put it in the post as well. Or if we talk about materials as well, we could then put a little annotation on this one. I could say this design could be made from, and then I'm going to say what it could be made from. Now all of them are going to be made from board, which is a heavier type of paper, from board because, and then I want to give a reason. So the reason we're choosing board is a number of things. One, you can cut it easily, we can fold it into a shape, we can print onto it to get the surface graphics, we can recycle it afterwards as well, we can bend it round or shape it. So it's got a load of different properties that we can use that make it suitable for this, so you could use one of those in your annotations. If you can envisage any problems with the design, so let's say this one, you could say the title problem, or you could code it with a cross, and you could say there could be an issue with this design because, and in this one I'm foreseeing that if I was to put a graphic here, and let's say a picture of a face, by the time I bend it over here, if their eyes are up here, it's going to look a bit distorted. So I need to think carefully about where the information is going to go. I don't want the information to go over the top here, so I'd explain that in my annotation. So that's the first thing we want to annotate. So we're looking for maybe between 2 to 3 annotations per idea, using your prompt down the side on the sheet in your booklet. And then the next thing we want to do is try and put the dimensions on. Now we've got some size restrictions. So this is a piece of A4 card that we're going to be using. Now the A4 measures 297 this way and 210 this way in this direction on the side. However, if we were to make our product and it used those sizes, it means that when we come to print it out, some of it will be cropped off. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an adjusted A4 size. So that means we're going to take off, we're going to make it slightly smaller. So we're going to make it 280 millimeters. That's the maximum you can use, by 200. So long as our net design fits within that, that means that we should be able to print it and it won't get cropped off. So if I just make a note up here, I've got 280 by 200. That's the maximum size that my net can be. So if I was using, if I highlight that, if I was using that measurement, and I wanted to apply it to this, I could say, well, I want this size to be 50 millimeters, this to be 50, this to be 50, this to be 50, and my gluing tab is going to be 10. If I add all those up, that's 210, but I've got 280 I could use, so I could actually make them bigger. So if I was to scrub that off and say, well, look, I want to make it 60 by 60 by 60 by 60, if I add all of those up, so I've got 120, 240, that's 250. I've still got another 30 millimeters I could use for the width if I wanted to. But for this, I might just keep it at 250. So the height, I might use the maximum height. I might say, well, this will be 200. So as long as I've got some calculations, it doesn't matter if it's scruffy like this, where you're trying to figure it out. That's fine. It doesn't have to be beautifully neat. Even then, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. It's just getting you to think about the size of it as well. If you want to, you can make a model. That helps as well. So let's say I did this one. I might say, well, look, if I made this back section 150, that leaves me with 50 plus 80. That leaves me with 130 left. So I could split that. I could use 10 for the gluing tab. That leaves me with 120. So I could split that in two. So I could make that one 60 and that one 60. And then rather than going for the 200, I might make this 180. So it's slightly different in size. So long as we can see some calculations for the sizes of what you think these nets are going to be around the outside. Okay, so that's lesson 4.